Hi everybody, it's Yazzie here, and I have a reading for you this evening. But first, as always, let's get everything cleansed first. I ask and invite in the gods and goddesses, archangels, guardian angels, deities, entities, spirits, spiritual teams, spiritual guides, ascended masters, our higher self, our inner toddler, our inner child, our inner teenager, our shadow self, and the universe to be present. And I ask that you all would please banish and remove anything and everything that is not meant for us, including negativity, negative energies, negative entities, evil eyes of all kinds, and negative monitoring spirits, for they are not welcome nor are they invited. And I ask that you all would please purify and cleanse this space, the tools in which I use, the cards, and myself, so that this message comes through clearly and with clarity for the collective today, please and thank you. And of course, as always, if nothing in my message resonates with you or certain parts do not resonate with you, that's okay. It just means it's not your message or it's not for you specifically. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. So, we're going to get a little bit of a general reading today. However, there was a phrase that came through just before I started this reading, and it was, "How could you leave me like this?" And I'm not necessarily sure if it's someone towards you, if it's you towards someone else, if it's someone you know and they're having this situation happening, but we're going to find out. And then the colors purple and red have been pretty prevalent, at least today. The last couple days it's been cycling through different colors, but purple has been the main theme and the main color. But today it's been purple and red, so you might be seeing that. And then there was another phrase that came through, and funny enough, it was it was from the Harry Potter movie. It's when Ron, when he gets in trouble and he gets the letter from his mom, the Howler letter, the red one, and it opens up and says his name, but the part where it says, "How dare you steal your father's car?" Like that phrase seemed to come through significantly. So maybe someone is doing things they shouldn't be doing, and they're getting caught because of it. So that could be something that's part of this message, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna see what's going on in the energy, because it's crazy right now. I'm not gonna lie, 2, 3, 4, they say that. We all know Mercury's retrograde right now. We know that Mars is in Leo, but it's gonna be retrograde here during this season. But I see it as it's not necessarily all bad when things like this happen. Like, it, for some reason, it feels like with this time around, it's more transformative, it's more changing than anything. It's more of something where we finally have the choice to be whoever we want to be this time around, 311, as I say that, rather than it just being, chaos, or just for the sake of chaos. Like, no, things are happening a lot differently this time around, where we have the choice now to move forward and to become the person that we've always wanted to be, in whatever way that looks like to us. And more importantly, it's in a way that is most authentic to us, more so than to the outside world. 345, as I say that, I saw that for a second. It kind of like reminds me of if you've ever seen Harry Potter. Seems to come up a lot. Someone may like Harry Potter. I've seen the majority of the movies. I haven't seen, I think, the last two, but but I've seen pretty much all of them, and it gives me that energy of the Chamber of Secrets, where he gets to see the Phoenix practically burst into flames in front of him, but then somehow it's reborn. It's a little baby phoenix out of the ashes, and it's adorable. But that's kind of the energy that I'm getting with this retrograde happening this time around. It's not so much the focus on the negative and, oh, everything's going wrong. Like, no, this time around it's, we have the choice now. We get to go through this amazing transformation, as opposed to Mercury retrograde being Mercury retrograde. 444, as I say that. Okay, but let's get into the cards, figure out who it is that is feeling that how could you leave me like this? Which card, or wow, which tarot deck are we starting with today? Traditional. Okay. We'll start with the traditional and figure out what's going on. And I just shuffled it. And funny enough, we have the King of Pentacles at the bottom. 511 as I say that. But what's going on with this person? Who is it that's saying this? Who is it that is saying this? And is it towards the collective, or is it someone they know? Or is it the collective that feels perhaps someone has left? Perhaps some bit of abandonment. I've noticed that's getting highlighted a lot too. As far as Four of Swords in reverse. As far as oh my goodness. Signs and messages that have been coming up. My bad, I'm sorry. But that's been coming up a lot too. But we have the Four of Swords in reverse. I just heard someone's feeling restless. And actually I got a message earlier today about someone might be having restless nights. They're not sleeping well. We have the Hermit out here. There's just like this. For someone it's anxious, but for someone else it's like you can feel the change. Like you can feel something's changing. And perhaps there's other people that feel the same way, and it may look as though it's anxiety, but it's not. Can I get another card, please? Why is the Hermit out here? I just heard transformation, of course. Transformation inward is what I just heard. And the Hermit is usually about, you're going inward. You're kind of seeking out your own inner wisdom. 654 as I say that. As well as, it's like it's you in the universe kind of energy. It's not so much you're not hearing all this outside noise as far as that goes. It's also Virgo energy, if I remember correctly, with the Hermit. What else? Whoops, sorry. The cards, they all want to talk, don't they? But what else? As far as the person who feels this way, as far as the person who's saying this, who is it specifically? Or can we get some sort of specific card with that? Someone's upset is what I just heard. Okay. And we have the Seven of Wands that came out. And we're going to start with that first. But there's the Devil on the bottom of the deck, by the way. So this is someone who's in a bit of a... it's a bit of an obsessive energy, actually. And that makes sense, too. And I'll talk about how. But with these here, they're feeling a little bit defensive. They're feeling as though... I keep hearing this is someone else, this is someone else, this is someone else. So it's not really you, actually, but this is someone who is paying close attention, is what I just heard. They're watching because they know. I just heard they know that when you leave, it's all over. Like, that's it. And we're not just talking about, like, physically leaving. Like, we're also talking about, like, there's no more connection. There's no more soul tie. There's no more energetic cord. Nothing like that. Like, that's what they're talking about. When they say, once you leave, it's over. That's it. And this person knows that. They're well aware of that, which is why they're having problems resting. And yeah, they may be internally introspecting, but they're doing it in such a way where it's because of... Hold on. I'll pick it up right now. But I have to cover it, of course. So give me 1 second. Let me see if I can do it like that. Is that good? Yeah, that's good. But with this energy here, they're doing it in a way where they're introspecting, but from the ego. They're not doing it from like a higher place. They're going based off of what they already know on this kind of energy, this kind of a little obsessive, but also egotistical kind of energy. They're very defensive. It's a very, I just heard I'm right and you're wrong kind of energy. And you can say whatever you want, try and do whatever you can to kind of even things out in this, but what's the phrase? It's not leading a horse to water. It's not that one, but it's basically you can't. If someone's blinded by their own, if someone, and this sounds so bad, but like if someone's blind and they can't see, and you can try and describe something to someone, but it's difficult to understand. And that's not to say anything against like people who are blind. It's really not. But this is someone where they're so blinded by their ego, they can't see anything else, is the point. So it's like you can show them all day, they're not going to see it regardless, because they're so in this kind of energy. Like even here underneath the devil was literally the Four of Cups. They're not seeing. They're only seeing this. This is all they're seeing. This is all they're focused on. But here you are trying to show them a different way of seeing whatever situation played out, and they're just not seeing it. But it's also because they don't want to. They don't want to either. And it's unfortunate because this should be something where, you know, especially if it's between two adults, there should be some sort of understanding of, you know, things happen for a reason. Things happen the way that they do. It is what it is. And 1123. And, you know, sometimes things just don't work out the way that you had planned all the time. And they just don't. Not everything is meant to work out all the time. But can we get a little bit more on what the situation is? Traditional again? Okay. I think I'm going to go traditional a lot today. Can we get a little bit more on what this situation was? Of like why this person is so like in their ego about this? Like what happened? Why? I just heard relationship and broken. Okay, but how? Why? What was it that made it break? 1212 I just saw right now. What was it that made it break? Ooh, this one went sideways. Two of Swords cross. So it's sideways right now, as you can see there on the camera. Whoop. Oh, we just had a bunch of cards flip over. Okay, and what's at the bottom? We have the Magician. I'm going to go with these ones. Because, what do we have? We have the Eight of Swords. We have the 8, my bad, 8 of Pentacles. We have the 4, we have the 4 of Pentacles. We have the Ace of Cups, and we have the Tower. Okay. So, let me piece all this together. So, why is the 2 of Swords crossed, the 8 of Swords, and the 8 of Pentacles here? You might be seeing a lot of 8s too. They've been coming up a lot lately, and 2s. 222 especially. But why is this here? Indecision caused blindness. But work was the distraction, is what I just heard. So this is someone where work fueled the ego, is what I just heard. So this is someone where they're all about their work. Very much so. And what happened is that it pretty much blinded them to everything else. Now, granted, they put themselves in the situation by not coming to some sort of decision or just sitting on the fence about it. But this is someone who work is all they know, is what I just heard. So this is someone where they just work is everything. And they feel that they don't have time for anything else outside of that. So with this specific relationship, it seems to have broken because of the fact that, you know, that's all they put their time into. They didn't put enough time or effort into their relationship. They just put it more into career prospects, is what I just heard. That's all that they focused on. So when all you do is work on one aspect of your life, everything else, of course, is not going to stay together the same way, especially if you want to have extra things in your life. But why is the 4 of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, and the Tower here? Why is this here? Why is this here? I keep hearing they couldn't let go. They couldn't let go. of the relationship or of work? I just heard both. So the thing about it is that, yeah, they wanted that new relationship, that new start or new beginning within whatever relationship was here. But no effort is what I just heard. They didn't want to put the effort into said relationship. They figured, oh, well, if I'm just working or doing, my job and career, that'll be enough to maintain the relationship. Little do they know that they're building on the most shakiest foundation that they could have possibly built upon, and thinking that it was going to be perfectly fine and it was a great idea. And now, of course, everything's crashing around them, and they're just at a loss, thinking that it was all you, is what I just heard. When that's not the case, because as we see with the magician here, they had the resources available to them. They had everything. Look at the table. They have the cups, the pentacle, the blade, the wand. The magician is even holding a wand to be connected, as above, so below kind of deal. They had everything available to them. I'm sure they had ample opportunities as well, but they chose to disregard it, is what I heard. They chose not to see it because they didn't think that they could handle that kind of extra work. But if that's the case, then they should have let it go. And this seems to be where I believe the abandonment issue is coming in, is that they would rather be miserable with someone than be miserable alone. And I've been getting that phrase coming up a lot lately too, just in general, outside of this reading. This seems to be the case where someone does not know how to let go and just accept the fact that things have happened. And I believe that part of it is because you have strength to see this from where it is. And this was underneath the magician. You have strength and compassion to see, okay, well, things happen the way that they happened. I understand, and you're able to see this from the bigger picture. And that makes all the difference when it comes to healing not only traumas or certain parts that may be unhealed within you, or just that may have nothing to do with the relationship but seems to bleed into it, but also be able to heal and see whatever relationship this was from the higher picture, and understand that we're all learning, we're all trying to figure things out, and perhaps this person isn't at that point of view yet. They're still working from a lower self as opposed to a higher self, and that's something that they have to 1818 that they have to come to a realization with. But it has to be between them and the universe, or whomever they believe in, as far as gods and goddesses, deities and such, and source. And that's something that you can't be in the middle of it, which is why you were taken out of it. Because if you stayed in the middle of it, it would have turned into, right underneath the strength card, it would have just been continued conflict at that point. There would have been no resolution. There would have been no, I just heard you leaving was the catalyst for change. And if you've ever gone through science or chemistry, you have to have a catalyst in order for something to, even if it's combusting or, being on fire, things like that, having a different chemical compound at the end of it, there has to be that catalyst for change. And it's unfortunate, and it's something where, yes, it hurts at first, but what must be done must be done. And you understand that. You've come to a point where you understand that perspective, and this person has to get to a point where, even if you did perhaps not make the best decisions within the relationship, or even perhaps do everything perfectly, because none of us do. Regardless of what anybody says, none of us make the most perfect 2002, the most perfect or right decision in any part of life all the time, because we're not perfect. We're perfectly imperfect. But if you are the one who's already taken the accountability as far as the relationship goes, they have to do that on their end now as well. And whether or not, they come around and things change, and whether or not, perhaps they do come back and apologize and say, hey, this is where I screwed up, whatever the case may be, it's up to you on whether you have them in your life at all. Like, I'm not saying to get into any serious relationship with them or anything of that sort, even just if it's like, if it's like communicating or anything, that's entirely up to you. But there's definitely someone watching, like, severely. Pay attention to your dreams. They'll tell you what you need to know. And if you have questions, meditate on it. Like, and I mean, like, with the universe, with source, with the ascended masters, your ancestors, even whomever you work with. If you have questions, ask about it. Get clarification on your dreams, because dreams will tell you what you need to know. And I can certainly say that someone's watching. Even I've had a dream literally yesterday that someone's watching. So just keep track of that. Okay. Is there anything else that we need? Or is this it for the message today? That is it for today. Okay. Well, I hope that brought you some clarity, and I hope that it helped. Thank you all again for your support. Thank you for watching, and thank you for joining me. And also, be safe out there. Things are getting hectic out there. They're getting weird with changes, but know that it is for the better. I promise. Okay. And I hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, or afternoon. Again, stay hydrated, be safe, and I'll see y'all again soon. Bye.